Happy Saturday and happy full moon in Cancer. We're going to do a reading on this full moon energy to see exactly what messages you might need to hear at whatever time you are watching this video. I am Empress Lazuli, you are your empire, and let's dive straight into your reading. So what's this full moon in Cancer energy bringing in for us as a collective? What energy is this full moon in Cancer bringing in? 8 of Pentacles. We just hit the 1-1 portal, you guys. We just came into the 1-1-1 portal. Happy New Year based on the Gregorian calendar, okay? So this energy is really bringing in all of those things that we know we need to work on right now. All those things that we need to put our focus into right now. We want to work on having a better body. We want to work on having better communication and relationships with physical people in our life. We want to make sure that we're working on ourselves so that we can attract and manifest the things that we want to for this new energy that's coming in for us as a collective. So we're very much in this energy of I'm hearing Rihanna walk, right? Walk, 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 walk. Like that song is just in my head right now. So it's like we're very much mindful of all the work that we need to do, that we haven't been doing, and that we need to be doing. And with this full moon in Cancer also lying in this cardinal energy, because Cancer is a cardinal sign, that is coming to the surface. All of the feelings and emotions behind how we feel about the work that we're doing so far. How do we feel about the work that we need to do within ourselves? How do we feel about the people around us and what work they've done to help support us in our lives? How do we feel about those things? How do we feel about co-workers at this time with this full moon in Cancer? So how do we feel about family members? Cancer is the family unit, the maternal energy. How do we feel as divine feminines working or just supporting and being there, nurturing our families who don't see some of the efforts that are being made as work because, oh, you're just staying at home as a mom, or you're just washing dishes, or you're just cleaning the house, right? How are we looking at work in general as a collective, and what appreciation do we have for the work that we've done and the work that there still is to do? Okay, so all of these concepts around work. I'm hearing Rihanna again. Work, 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 work. All right, what else? What other energies are coming in with this full moon in Cancer for us as a collective? Also, working on creative ventures. Some of us have not been working on creative ventures as much as we would like to. So this is definitely shining a light on or helping emotions to come up to remind us like, hey, you still have these creative talents that you haven't been working on because you've gotten so distracted by work or preoccupied by doing the mundane everyday activities, and you haven't carved out specific times for you to be able to work on your creative talents. So thinking about that, how can you incorporate time into your schedule to work on your creative abilities, to make that artwork, right? To start that business, to sell those items, to bring forward that service to the collective. We have the star here. Yes, exactly what I'm saying. So it's like you bringing forward and allowing people to see your special light, to see your light, to allow your light to shine and be unique in the collective. Do you hide yourself away? The last reading I did, I talked about, are you being boring? Are you someone that just goes straight from work to your house because you're tired, right? Are you someone that might need to be a lot more intentional about the places that you go and the things that you do in order to allow people to see your light, even if it's online? Okay, Aquarius energy is very much the internet, okay, technology. So get online even if you have to. Make a live video if you would like to, if that's what you're feeling called to do. But do certain things. Sorry, your nephew is in the car and he has little stuffy nose. But do certain things, but do certain things, 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 do That's what you're hearing in the background. Yes, those ventures, like, get online. Maybe you need to incorporate technology in your creative abilities and sharing those talents and messages with the collective at this time with this full moon in Cancer. It's time to get the ball rolling. It's time to take action towards those things. Okay? What's the past influence before this full moon in Cancer for us as a collective? I feel like really being able to be more discerning, cutting through certain illusions. We all have had rose-colored glasses at one point or another in our lives, or multiple points in our lives. But it's really important for us to be able to remove those illusions when we need to really see things clearly, when we really need to be able to focus on what lessons need to be learned out of experiences that we have. Sometimes when we go through certain things, we may not be able to see it as clearly because we're in it. But after you get out of a certain experience, you have that ability to say, wow, I have a whole different perspective, and I can learn something from what I'm seeing, or from the thoughts or the conversations that I've had about that situation. Therapy it comes to mind for me. When you speak to other people out loud about certain experiences, when you have conversations with people that you trust that don't allow you to stay in that state of illusion, when you have those friends or those family members that are like, I know that I love you, however, maybe look at it from this point of view, or maybe take off the rose-colored glasses and see the situation for what it is, or see that person for how they really treated you, for how they really emotionally handled you, for how you chose to emotionally dismiss or ignore your own feelings for the sake of prioritizing someone else's emotions over your own. So sometimes having conversations with other people with this full moon in Cancer can allow your emotions to come more easily to the surface so that they can be worked on and released properly. Sometimes when we have those conversations, that's when you're able to have a good cry, you know? when you're able to have a good cry and let out how you're feeling, let out what you want to say that you didn't get to say to that person, that you should have said that you didn't say, and now you're thinking, wow, this is something that keeps bouncing around in my head, I just need to get this out. So whether you're speaking with trusted loved ones, or you're just venting and having conversation and letting certain things out and speaking to yourself, right? That is healthy because it allows you to process and remove that illusion, and you don't have any other option at that point. When you've ended a situation, when you've broken up with someone, when they're no longer in your environment, sometimes you leave yourself no choice but to have that blatant, like, looking Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror is playing in my head right now. You're looking at the man in the mirror and you're asking yourself to change your ways because you don't have another person to bounce off anymore, or to manipulate anymore, or to be narcissistic or toxic emotionally with anymore. It's just you, yourself, and you that you're sitting with and reflecting. And sometimes it's very hard when all of those emotions are coming up and you're like, it's just me and I was the problem, or I contributed to this issue. I can no longer just sit there and blame and point the finger at someone else, because I'm sitting in my own energy and realizing my contribution to things and how I can work on myself, how I can emotionally reflect on what I brought to the situation so that I can begin to become more emotionally mature, so that I can increase my emotional intelligence. So during this full moon in Cancer, accept that invitation to get the ball rolling and allowing your emotions to come to the surface. Full moons allow energy and emotion to come to the surface to be dealt with, so that you can better support yourself emotionally, so that you can see things a little bit more clearly. So do that at this time. Accept that invitation. Don't continue to suppress things and push things down and neglect yourself and what your needs are at this time emotionally. Don't do that entering this new energy. It's coming up for us to release it for good so that we can really step into this new energy of this new year with a fresh new energy. Or so that we can start incorporating new actions to begin to facilitate that process of releasing the toxic habits that are no longer serving us. All right. What other messages do we have from this full moon in Cancer? What other messages are there for the collective for this full moon in Cancer? Two of Wands. This just reminds me of the crossroads. Look, the moon card came out. Crossroads. When it comes to making certain decisions about ourselves and deliberating, are you considering your feelings the most? Let me see. Is this light gonna be crazy? Okay, hold on. It's like it's getting dark, so I'm trying to like do some light here, some light control. When it comes to with this Two of Wands, the decisions that we're making regarding ourselves, are you really making a decision considering all the options that you want to consider, or are you considering other people in the decisions that you're making? Prioritize yourself at this moment in time. Prioritize how you are showing up for yourself with this Two of Wands. What are all the decisions that you see yourself making? And how can you take action and move towards them at this time and be a bit more decisive? Stop staying in the middle. Stop always being in the middle when it comes to making certain decisions. Sometimes you have to choose a path, okay? Yeah, sometimes you have to choose a path and commit to it and give all of your energy to it. And allow yourself to go through the process of walking through that decision, going and seeing that decision from A to Z, so that you can reap the rewards, so that you can see the results and decide, okay, I made this decision, this is a choice that I made, I committed myself to it, I saw myself to the end, I've learned X, Y, and Z, and I am grateful that I took that path. Now that I've chosen that and I know where that leads, I can choose another decision, right? So being able to have that discernment, but in order to have those life experiences, sorry baby, soon, okay? In order to have life experiences, we do need to make certain choices. I'm about to go. We do need to make certain choices. Hey. Okay, mommy's coming, okay? I'm about to go now, okay? In order to make certain life decisions, you need to make certain choices so that you can see it through and accurately decide whether it is right for you or not. So that you can accurately decide, okay, I definitely know for sure this is not for me. Sometimes we need to go through the entire experience. Sometimes we need to go through that entire relationship process. Even if we might be like, dang, I stayed in that too long. No, you stayed in it as long as you needed to realize whether it was right or not for you, right? So don't regret certain things that you go through. Just make clearer choices about the things that you're going to do and decide to commit to that decision so that you can commit to the process of learning the lesson, right? Okay, I'm going to end it there. I hope that those messages for the full moon in Cancer provided you with some kind of resonation. They did help. And I love you all so, so much. I'm going to go in and take care of my own emotions. And I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. Continue building your empire. And if you would like a personal reading, go ahead and hit me up. I love you so much.